Yeah, Lalitangi, you have co-host.
Okay. Shall we start?
I think we can wait, Mataji. There's no one.
Okay.
Okay, Mataji, we can start with you.
Okay. So thank you so much for giving
1 second. 1 second. Hare Krishna, welcome everyone to the Untitled Chapter conference call. Thank you all so much for joining us today. So today we'll continue our study of Sri Isopanishad, and we have our priest Lalitangi Radha Mataji with us to brief us on verse number 6. Mataji, you can now take over.
Thank you so much, Mataji, and thanks to all the Bhakti Sangha group organizers for giving us this opportunity to relish Isopanishad from Srila Prabhupada. Of course, Srila Prabhupada has written each and every verse, delved deep, researched Acharya's commentaries, and spent so much of his efforts to write the purports for these books, which are supposed to be read again and again and again. So we will make use of this opportunity to discuss more about Sri Isopanishad, verse 6. So we'll start with prayers. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkest ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirbhisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarini. I offer my respectful obeisances unto His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who is very dear to Lord Krishna, having taken shelter at His lotus feet. Our respectful obeisances are unto you, O spiritual master, servant of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami. You're kindly preaching the message of Lord Chaitanya Deva and delivering the Western countries which are filled with impersonalism and voidism. Jai Sri Krishna. Okay, let's offer obeisances to all the assembled Vaishnavas and all the Acharyas. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Kamkaroti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Giri Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Mishwaram. Harihi Om Tatsat. Okay, so we covered 5 verses so far, along with the introduction and the invocation. So invocation verses, we saw how the Lord is complete. Even when something is taken away from him, he remains complete. Even when something is added to him, he's complete. And whatever coming from him is complete units. Whether that is spiritual energy or this material world, everything is completely, perfectly equipped to act completely on its own. So this is a description of the invocation verses. Then we saw the verse 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5, telling how we are supposed to accept only our quota and not take the things that belong to others. And if we live like this, then we can live for 100 years. But if we don't live like this, knowing the purpose of the life, then it's not worth living at all. So how to live in this world without getting bonded by karma and again and again undergo the cycle of birth and death, that also we saw. Then if we don't pay attention to the spiritual life, as a human being, this is a very, very rare opportunity. And so if we don't pay attention, then we are soul killers. So we are spirit souls, but we have deliberately shun away this spiritual knowledge. And so if we are soul killers, means we spend the whole life only worrying and absorbing ourselves in the external things and not caring about the soul, then what is our destination? So that was also explained, that we again descend down into animal species of life for having lost or not used this valuable opportunity of human life. And if we don't have this knowledge of our spiritual existence, then we are bound to do sinful activities, and that would again push us for terrible suffering in the hellish planets and in the other species of life. So so we also saw this, that how the contradictions, very beautiful class, last class, how there are contradictions and how to understand the contradictions, who can understand and who can't understand, and how if there is no contradiction, then there is no question of being supreme, the Lord being supreme. Supreme means whatever is possible in our experience is possible for him. Whatever that is impossible for us or not even conceivable for us also is possible for him. So that definition of supreme was very nicely presented. Sukasagari Mataji, I think, did last week. It was wonderful. So now continuing with verse 6. So we will have a group task at the end. So I will try to complete it in 30 minutes, and we can have 10 minutes of group task. So we will divide ourselves into 3 groups and try to churn out. Maybe let me show that so that we can pay much attention to what we are going to discuss is this. So group 1 should bring out the understanding of Kanishta Adhikari through a conversation. Means 2 people can engage in a conversation, and in that way, they can bring out, one person would be like asking questions and the other would answer, or vice versa, like that. So through conversation, we are trying to bring out the understanding of who a Kanishta Adhikari is. And group 2 will enact a role play, bringing out the characteristics of Madhyama Adhikari. So we will try to enact out, so not specifically mentioned, but enact out the characteristics of Madhyama Adhikari. Group 3 would bring out examples of Uttama Adhikari behavior in devotees from Srimad Bhagavatam. So we would do this group task at the end. So now we will continue. So this is the verse. Yastu sarvani bhutani atmanyevānupashyati sarva bhuteshu chatmanam tato na vijugupsate. Yastu sarvani bhutani atmanyevānupashyati sarva bhuteshu chatmanam tato na vijugupsate. Yastu sarvani bhutani. Ya is he who, but sarvani, all, bhutani, living entities, atmani evanu pashyati, in relation to the Supreme Lord only, observes in a systematic way. Sarva bhuteshu, in every living being, chatmanam, and the super soul, tataha, thereafter, not vijugupsate, hates anyone. So he who systematically sees everything. So important word is anupashyati. Srila Prabhupada will explain about this in the purport also. So sees everything in relation to the Supreme Lord, who sees all living entities as his parts and parcels, and who sees the Supreme Lord within everything, never hates anything or any being. So Vijugupsate is hates anyone. In Bhagavad Gita, from 2nd chapter onwards, Krishna starts telling this, Matra Sparshastu Kaunteya Sitoshna Sukha Dukkadaha Agama Paino Nityastamtitikshasva Bharata. Try to tolerate the appearance and disappearance of happiness and distress, which are temporary, like the appearance and disappearance of winter and summer seasons, and which cannot be stopped. And then he says, Vitaraga Bhaya Krodha, giving up attachment, hatred, anger, attachment, Vita, Raga, Bhaya, Krodha, attachment, fear, and anger. And then also he says, one who neither hates, na shochati, na kankshati, neither laments nor hankers. So again and again, we see that this duality is something that is binding us, and Krishna is again and again asking us to come out of it, beyond it. And honestly, we all, speaking from my point of view, I can see that I'm so much in this dualities based on this description of Bhagavad Gita. We like someone, we hate someone, and like the one that we hate, and then hate the one that we like, and it goes on and on. So Supreme Lord is giving us a solution here, a process, that a person who sees everything in relation to the Supreme Lord, who sees all living entities as his parts and parcels, and who sees the Supreme Lord within everything, never hates anything or any being. And Prabhupada starts the purport with saying that this verse is explaining the position of a Mahabhagavata or an Uttamadhikari. So we will see that. So how to come to that stage is also explained, and so Srila Prabhupada explains 3 levels of devotees, because in order to understand, this is a description of Mahabhagavata, the great personality. So who is a Mahabhagavata and which level he is in? He's explaining the 3 levels, Kanishta, Madhyama, and Uttama, and how to develop the spiritual vision, what to avoid and what to accept. So that is the theme of this purport. And goes first thing, he explains who is a Kanishta Adhikari. So we can see that Kanishta, Prabhupada translates as neophyte, means one who has started. So initiation, initiate means begin. So initiation means one who begins. So initiation is the time when we begin our devotional services. Until that time, the devotional service is practiced. So when we get initiated, then we get the adhikar to perform devotional service, because we are serving a devotee who's a guru who's serving his devotee. And like that way, we are formally offering all our services to the servant of the servant of the servant of the Lord. And that is the a proper process to offer our services. So what is a characteristic of a person who has started the spiritual journey? I mean, we discussed about this many times in previously in Nectar of Instruction verses also. So this is just going to be a revision. So Kanishta Adhikari is very much attached to the temple worship. We go to the temple and follow the scriptural injunctions, and Kanishta Adhikari sees that the Lord is present in the place of worship. Although the Lord is present everywhere, he's not able to appreciate the presence of the Lord anywhere else. So since he's in the beginning, he's not able to ascertain or tell who is in which position in devotional service. Just as much as a child cannot judge parents or adults. So child cannot judge, okay, this person is like this person is this many years old, this person is a well-wisher, this person is a doctor, engineer. Child cannot guess, because the child is just beginning his human life. So similarly, Kanishta Adhikari cannot tell, or sometimes he misplaces also. I have done a lot of that thing. So doesn't know who is proper authority, who is situated in devotional service. So we tend to get carried away by what we think is devotion. And and we follow routines, and then but we are trying to transcend the materialistic limit, but we are not yet transcended. So that is our position. And another important thing is sometimes quarrels over devotional matters. So this we have seen that there's a story that we often hear, that two devotees are massaging the spiritual master. One is massaging the right leg, another is massaging the left leg. And then suddenly this devotee wants to do better massage than the others. And then both are like showing their muscle power on the spiritual master's legs. And then, oh, you're doing better than me, let me pinch. So, I mean, we have heard this and it's very funny. But basically there, it's easy to understand that we are hurting the spiritual master, because we see how both the legs are connected to the body, and the spiritual master is lying down there, and he's a person and he's feeling the pain. And as soon as we pinch, he says, wow. So it's easy to connect. But Srila Prabhupada said that ISKCON is my body in his absence. So he has made the house in which the whole world can live. So in the absence of such a personal spiritual master and ISKCON representing his body, then at that time, we have to be little introspective to apply this. So why the initial devotees quarrel? Because we don't tend to see the whole picture. We tend to see our service and what we think matters a lot. That is the first priority. So if somebody has some other thought, we might not be accommodative and we might not cooperate. Like if I don't get involved in this, or it is not under me, this service, then should I cooperate and help others? So all this separatist mentality comes. So that's why the quarrel comes, because a Madhyamadhikari would see that we'll come to that. But basically in Kanishta stage, we see our devotional service. And because of the failure to see the whole picture, we feel competitive and envious towards the fellow devotees whom we are working with. Sometimes grossly or subtly, we don't want to cooperate. And we are jealous that, how come this person is singing so nicely, or this outwardly we glorify, wow, Mataji, such a wonderful class. But inside the mind is thinking, oh, I wish I also do that. Why am I not able to do that? So always it is me, me, me. So that is why it is, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says that it is very dangerous to remain in Kanishta for a long time, because there is a danger of fall down very easily. One should quickly go to Madhyamadhikari level to see that I am playing my part. Doesn't matter whether, suppose a person in Kanishta Adhikari, suppose like I'm a writer and I'm writing articles for some magazines, and then I see some other devotee has come and who's like, I'm not a professional writer, but I can write. But if that person say that Mataji is working as an editor and she does this as a professional job, definitely she would do things better than me. So would I be ready to give up my service to her? So then a Madhyama Adhikari would do that, because he knows that ultimately it is the spiritual master's body or the mission that is the first and foremost goal. And that is how we train ourselves to be selfless. Because if we are selfish in spiritual life, then we are anchored. We are anchored our boat. Boat is there to cross. We row the boat the whole night, but it's anchored. So that is the thing, we see that in the initial movements of Srila Prabhupada, devotees were fluid. They saw that this book has to be published, this painting has to be done. So in many paintings, nobody can write their name because so many people have worked on it. Very selfless. And that's what attracts the Lord. So the mission of the spiritual master, the mission is the first priority. If we have not yet come to that level, then we remain as Kanishta, and that's when the quarrel comes, and then it goes on, and neither we are satisfied nor we can progress. And because of our example, bad example, we would stop even quality people, quality devotees to come, because devotees, they the new comers, they hear us, but they see us more than what they hear. So so Kanishta Adhikari, we are doing everything, but then quickly we have to go up to Madhyama Adhikari level. So what is a different, like a materialist, is attached to matter and detached from Krishna. A Mayavadi is detached from matter and detached from Krishna also. Sahajiya, or a person who brings the worship of the Lord to the ordinary platform, he's attached to matter and attached to Krishna as well. A devotee is a person who is detached from matter and attached to Krishna. So in the beginning, in the Kanishta Adhikari stage, everyone starts being a Sahajiya because we are attached to ourselves, and for so many lifetimes, and even in this lifetime, so many years, we have been the center of attraction in our life. Now to make Krishna as a center, or to make devotees as a center, or to make the spiritual master's mission as a center, that's a paradigm shift. So Prabhupada, that's why repeatedly criticizes attachment to matter. There are two things: attachment to Krishna and detachment to matter. Both have to be cultivated simultaneously, and that's how Srila Prabhupada has designed his purpose. So when we do this, then that brings the devotee to the Madhyama level. So in the Madhyama level, the Supreme Lord is considered as the sole object of love. Like Kunti Devi, he says that Ata Vishvesha Vishvatman Vishwamurte Swakeshu me Sneha Pasam Imam Chindi Dridam Pandushu Vrishnishu. Both from my paternal side and both from my mother's side and from my husband's side. Pandushu, Pandu, Pandavas, my sons and all my relatives from my in-laws side are Vrishni, are from the parent side. So Sneha Pasam Imam Chindi. So my Sneha and Pasa, affection is there with these two, but please, oh Lord, cut this affection and let me, after this is Twayi me Ananya Vishaya Matir Madhupate Asakrit. Twayi me Ananya Vishaya, nothing else but you. Matir Madhupate, you, O Madhupati, let you be as a sole object of love for me. Twayi me Ananya Vishaya Matir Madhupate Asakrit Ratim Utvahatat Adda Gange Vagam Udanmati. Let my rati be developed and flow towards you like how Ganga flows towards the Sagara. So there is no way that one can stop the flow of a river. If you put any obstacle, a river will go around, go on top. Nothing can stop the flow of the river. And that to the forceful river like Ganga. So she says Gange Vagam Udanvati. Let my attraction flow towards you like that. So that is Madhyama Adhikari adores the Lord, considers him as the sole object of love. And then for this sake, he makes the devotees of the Lord as his friends. Makes friendship with the devotees of the Lord. And for innocent who are ready to accept the knowledge, he shows merciful. He takes off his time helping them to awaken the dormant love of God in their hearts, because it's the service that is so dear to the Lord, to help people to come to him. Then he shuns the atheists who have no faith in the Lord. And the atheists are those who hates those in devotional service. They can't tolerate them. So the atheists have a natural enmity towards those performing devotional service. So the Madhyama Adhikari avoids them also. because they deride the name of the Lord. Madhyamadikari doesn't want to deal with them, so they avoid them. So that is what it's a second stage, and this is distinguished by these four categories. First is the Supreme Lord, he loves and adores. Second is with devotees, makes friends. With the innocent, is merciful. And with atheists, he tries to avoid. There's a shloka also in this. I forgot that. Okay. So now, Uttama Adhikari is the next best stage. So Uttama and Madhyama both do the right thing, but Madhyama is being taught so he does that. He's kind of following a routine in a regime. He's asked to do so he's doing that. But a Uttama Adhikari does it so spontaneously because it is his nature. This is like Raganuga Bhakti and Vaidhi Bhakti. We can say that how, because Uttama Adhikari sees everything in relation to the Supreme Lord and he doesn't discriminate. We can see that the Madhyama Adhikari discriminates between the atheist and the innocent. Uttama Adhikari doesn't discriminate between the atheist or theist or Brahmana or dog. So we have the shloka, right, in the Bhagavad Gita. Can anyone say that? It says that a person who's a devotee has an equal vision.
That one, Brahmane Gavi Hastine.
Yes. Wonderful. Wonderful, Balavrinda. Yeah. So see how a humble sage, by the virtue of knowledge, sees with an equal vision a dog eater, an elephant, and a Brahmana. Not that he goes and hugs a dog, but he is able to see the spiritual spark. That is the thing. He doesn't discriminate. He doesn't see the outside covering, but sees the spiritual spark. And so why? Because he's not misled by material bodies. And he sees in terms of, because the Brahmana has used his will properly, and so he is able to, he's closer to the Lord. He's in the mode of goodness. But a living entity in the body of a dog has misused his independence, so he's away. But basically, both of them have dormant love for Krishna. So that is what Uttama Adhikari is able to see that spontaneously. And there's so many examples in this that he sees everybody as a part and parcel of the Lord, and he's not misled by that. And so we can see his behavior is like that. We can see how recently in the ISKCON GBC SPT Facebook page, every Ekadasi, they are sharing one quality of Prabhupada and sharing some videos of memories of Srila Prabhupada based on that quality. Is so nice. And I heard Gopal Krishna Maharaj share a very nice thing in that. So Maharaj this happened during the early days in Montreal, and Prabhupada and with a group of devotees, they had gone to a Christian church where there are nuns, and to give a class to them. So after giving the class, there was one Mukherjee. He got up and he kind of insulted Prabhupada before everyone. Like he said that, why you have to, they are already following Christian religion. Why you have to come here and preach to them? What is the necessity of that? You can keep your preaching in India. And who is he? He is the person who has come along with this troop, a part of devotees. So he's been coming to the temple and he has come along with them. So he is not from the church group or an audience. He's from inside, one of the persons who was coming to ISKCON who was favorable. And he spoke so many things. Srila Prabhupada kept quiet. he did not answer. And then he said that maybe in the past life, I had done something to him. So he has come to give me back the same thing. So that's what Prabhupada told later to the devotees. And then while he was in Montreal for quite some time, and when he was about to leave, he called for that Mukherjee. So, and then the devotees told, no, Srila Prabhupada, he, insulted you so much before everyone. He attacked you like this. But he said, no, I want to meet him, call him. So when he came, he paid obeisances. Prabhupada hugged him, gave him blessings, and, talked with him nicely. So Maharaj said that, this is how the quality that they were addressing, that was he's peaceful. So he was not agitated. If anybody would have told anything about Krishna, he would have been like a lion getting back at them. But this person was telling something on him, and this again, one more incident, it happened in India when they were preaching, when they came and they were preaching in India. Again, in a lecture, there was one person who got up and who told all nasty things and said that you should not do this. Prabhupada remained quiet, and when asked later, he said the same thing. Maybe I have done something, I have shouted at him in the previous life, so he had come back to give me that. And also there, Revati Nandan Prabhu shared that when he asked Prabhupada that what is the consciousness of a pure devotee like? What is there? What is going on in the consciousness of pure devotee? So Srila Prabhupada said that the consciousness of pure devotee is very grave, like the water in the ocean, deep under the ocean. The water deep under the ocean, the water on the surface has waves. Okay, it's always agitated, waves coming and going. But deep, it is still. So Prabhupada said that is the consciousness of a pure devotee. And again, there was a flight ride with Prabhupada and one other disciple. I forgot, I think Pushta Krishna Prabhu, he was a secretary to Prabhupada. And Prabhupada was sitting a few seats before, and then they got stuck into an air pocket, and Prabhu was telling that how for 5 seconds it was like a free fall. You can imagine going in a roller coaster, maximum like 1 second or 2 seconds or 3 seconds like this. But it was like a 5 seconds, and that too, the plane was like literally coming like it was a free fall down. And Prabhu was telling that my stomach was in my head and everybody was screaming and things were strewn around. And so he got up and he went to see Prabhupada. So he asked, Srila Prabhupada, are you okay? So Prabhupada turned around to him and said, yes, we can die at any moment. And he was very peacefully, he answered that. Yes, but we can die at any moment. Then he came back and sat, and after a good 5 minutes of thing like that, then the airplane started to stabilize. So yeah, this is the quality of Uttamadhikari. And so how to develop this spiritual vision? So Prabhupada's purports are always practical. It's not that Uttamadhikari is not achievable. So he's saying what we have to avoid and what we have to accept. So first thing we have to avoid is being imitator of Uttamadhikari. We cannot try to imitate, because if we imitate, we will never go there. So we have to avoid imitating the actions of Uttamadhikari, because when we are in the bodily platform, we cannot imitate the thing of Uttamadhikari who's beyond the bodily platform. And so Prabhupada is talking about politicians offering material gains and false philanthropy, because unless a person knows the concept of soul and the super soul, it's not possible to have a spiritual vision. So anybody else who's telling that, humanitarian, philanthropists, altruists, or politicians, they are just trying to imitate the Uttama Adhikari. Without the information of the spiritual world and without the concept of the soul, we cannot develop a spiritual vision. So how to develop a spiritual vision is to follow a person who has developed a spiritual vision. Pashyate is see, Anupashyate is to follow previous acharyas, and following previous acharyas means following Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. We'll see that. So first Prabhupada is saying about false philanthropists, and they can claim to be the best philanthropists. They are the richest man giving most charity. But if a person doesn't know the spiritual platform of life, then he can't do justice to that. He cannot behave equally on a bodily platform. So there is, again, one time Shrutakirti Prabhu was there, and Prabhupada rang the bell. And he came running, and he asked, "What can I do?" He said, "Nothing, I'm just checking how fast are you." So when Shrutakirti Prabhu says that, it just transports us. Whatever he's saying, like we can, it look like we have seen a video of that, or we were there in that scenario. So that is the effect of listening to him. Then again, he rang the bell in the evening, and then Srila Prabhupada said that, looking at pointing to the bug, that the bug seems hungry, get a maha flower to him. So that was Prabhupada's vision. I mean, he's not seeing the bug as a bug. And we can also see this when he stayed in the manor, not manor, John Lennon's estate, before they got the Bury place. So John Lennon had given their estate, and he was asking the devotees who were working for renovating their estates. And Prabhupada used to take morning walks there. It was a huge estate where in the horse stables, the gardener, I'm not sure who was that, who was living there with his wife. He came running, telling that, I've been there are strange sounds, and my wife looks to be haunted. And Prabhupada said that, there's so much war and killing has happened here, and I can see so many subtle beings around. And then he sent the devotees to do kirtan there. And when they performed the kirtan, after 1 hour, slowly, the heavy atmosphere came down, and after that there was some heavy rain or something fell down, and after that there was no disturbance at all. They did not complain of any disturbance. And Prabhupada used to go morning walk there, and the last day when they decided that they would vacate that place, and then Prabhupada would go and stay in Bury place, even though it is not finished. So when they were about to start, Prabhupada said that, let me tell bye to my friends, to the trees there. So that's what he was meaning, because every day morning he was going for morning walk there. So he used to touch the trees, and as though they were his old friend. This is written in the Lilamrita. So then the next day Prabhupada left, and the day after Prabhupada left, there was a huge hurricane there. And many window panes were broken, and many trees were uprooted. These trees were standing for so many years, and they were uprooted. So that is the vision of Uttama Adhikari, because he knows that universal brotherhood is just not talking on a theoretical sense. He's seeing that. And but then not everyone is equal on material level. Each one has different qualities and capacities. So based on that, there is Varnashrama Dharma. Our Varnashrama Dharma is based on that. But the Uttama Adhikari sees the spark of serving Krishna in everyone. And recently we were reading in one purport, Prabhupada is writing, for the opening of the Vrindavan temple, he would personally prefer Sankirtan. But then the local Brahmanas, they wouldn't agree that the deity is installed without the fire yajna. So for that sake, they did the fire yajna. And they called the local Brahmanas to do the fire yajna because Vrindavan Vasis would not accept these Americans as Brahmanas. But Prabhupada made them cook for him. He ate. And he was telling that just if these devotees, they do the kirtan, he would consider this much better than the ritualistic yajna performed by caste Brahmanas. So we can see Prabhupada's vision, Prabhupada was here. He knew what these people were, but he completely transformed them to devotees and he made them, we can read that purport also, very brilliant purport where what is the capacity of a Uttama Adhikari is that he can inspire and empower the Madhyama Adhikari and totally transform Kanishta Adhikaris to through his power, he's pulling them up in their advancement in spiritual life. So, once Prabhupada also asked Shivananda Prabhu that please pray for me. And then Shivananda Prabhu is telling that what is worth my prayer? This was like 1969 or 17 in Germany. So Prabhupada said, you're a devotee, so your prayers are valuable. So this conversation also comes in Leelamrita. So we can see, Prabhupada's non-judgmental vision always. Yeah. Yes. So how to achieve that? We must observe and we must hear. Observe the previous acharyas and observe the perfected teachers, and we must hear. So that is why, ISKCON is full of classes. How many ever times we have done this Isopanishad, Nectar of Instruction, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, but again and again we give a oral reception. So that's what Prabhupada says, oral reception. Receive Krishna's teachings respectfully through the ears. So that is the real scene. There's an example. If you want to read a graph, just seeing is not thing. You need to know about the graph, what the graph is about, what is the x-axis, what is the y-axis. Then we can read the graph. So similarly, the Newton saw the fruit falling, but everybody sees fruit falling, but fruit falling is not the main thing. He saw behind it. So just seeing is not the thing. Like mirage, it is there. Water is there when we see, but water is actually not there. So in spiritual life, seeing basically means hearing from the Vedas and hearing from people who have perfected their life. So then, initially there was no need of recording the messages. People just heard and they spoke and they heard and they spoke. That was how. But then Kali Yuga memory and there is tendency to adulterate things. So then it was written down by Vyasadeva, and Vyasadeva gave all the instructions. Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads. Isopanishad is one of the Upanishads. Bhagavad Gita, Vedanta Sutra. Everything has one purpose. Is complete agreement that how these are all the manual that we are stuck here. How to get out? How to dovetail our life in the service of the Lord and get out of this miserable place. So Srila Madhvacharya also says that there is one Vakya. What is that? Veda Eka Vakyata. What is that one Vakya? Vishnu is supreme. And scripture is the omniform. Means scripture is the presence of the Lord. The Lord is present in the form of scriptures. And through scriptures, we are able to see the Lord. Like the instructions of the scriptures can also be manipulated if we don't hear it properly from the authority. For example, meat eating is allowed in the Vedas. So then everybody says, let me eat meat. But it is like a doctor telling to a diabetes patient, take sugar only once a week. Why? Actually, sugar is not good. But the patient cannot give up eating sugar. So doctor, knowing that the patient cannot give up eating sugar, gives a concession once a week. But to other who can give up, he says, don't eat sugar at all, because that's bad for you. If you want to live, don't eat sugar. So that is the thing of the scriptures, and to understand the scriptures and not interpret it and suit our needs, we need to follow the sadhu and guru who is telling, who is explaining the scriptures, so that we can properly engage, follow them in our life. So, Srila Prabhupada continues to talk about liberated person's mission, one who's already in the Brahman platform. Then he can become a Uttamadhikari. 18.54. Anyone wants to tell that shloka? Brahma Bhuta.
Brahmabhuta prasannatma na sochati na kanchati tama sarveshu bhuteshu madbhakta.
Mataji ke Mataji ke
Yes, Balabrinda.
Brahma Bhuta Prasadadva Tajo Jadi Nagajadi Tavasaveju Bhuteshu Madhate Attatra.
Wonderful. Good, Balabrinda and Balabrinda's mother. Hari Bol.
Thank you, Mataji.
So Brahma Bhuta is one who is situated in the Brahman platform. He doesn't hanker and he doesn't lament. So that's why it is said that he is again saying that it cannot be imitated by politicians, and it cannot be misused by someone to serve another person's outward body. But the Uttamadhikari sees the spirit soul. And this is a verse 4.30.20, and it exactly like the same thing. It says, Navyavad Dridaye Yajno Brahmai Tad Brahmavadibihi Na Muhyanti Na Shochanti Na Hrishyanti Yato Gataha. Always engaging in the activities of devotional service, devotees feel ever increasingly fresh and new in all their activities. Why? Because the all-knower, the super soul within the heart of the devotee makes everything increasingly fresh. This is known as a Brahman position by the advocates of the absolute truth. In such a liberated state, Brahma Bhuta, one is never bewildered, nor does one lament or become unnecessarily jubilant. This is due to the Brahma Bhuta situation. So, this is a liberated person's vision. Not that he's morose, but he's grave. And he's not agitated by the material happenings. So we can introspect and see where we are staying. So before the summary, okay, let's do the summary first. So Kanishta Adhikari, in this purport, Srila Prabhupada covers. Basically, he says this speaks about the Mahabhagavata devotee. And initial stages of starting is to worship the deity. Kanishta Adhikari follows the routine, but he's quarrelsome because he's still the center. He and his service matters the most. So then he's trying to transcend to the spiritual plane. So the second stage is that when he comes to the second stage, he loves the Lord, he makes friends with the devotees. Now his thing and his service is not so important, and he sees himself as a part of the plan. Whatever it may be, whether he gets credit, whether someone quarrels with him, his main thing is let me be friends with devotees, because if I am not friends with devotees, I cannot advance in devotional service. So he's merciful to the innocent and avoids the atheist. Uttamadhikari sees everything in relation to the Supreme Lord. Yomam pashyati sarvatra sarvam cha mai pashyati. So, and he sees everything in relation to the Supreme Lord. He sees Supreme Lord in everything. Tasyaham na pranashyami sachamena pranashyati. I am not lost to him, neither is he lost to me. There is one more shloka in Bhagavatam. Sadhunam hridayam mahyam. What is that? Sadhunam hridayam mahyam. I am in the heart of the sadhus. And sadhus are in the heart of me. I don't know anything else, and they don't know anything else. Krishna is telling, I also don't know anybody else except them. So that is so beautiful. That shloka. Anybody wants to share?
Mataji, can my Prabhu say that shloka?
Yes, Mataji, please.
Sadhavo hridayam mayam sadhunam hridayam tvaham madanyattena jananti naham tebhyo managapi.
Prabhu, can you please explain a little bit for us to understand?
That's a tough one. Sadhavo hridayam mayam. I reside in my devotees' hearts and devotees reside in my heart. Madanyattena jananti. They are not conscious of anyone else other than me. Naham tebhyo managapi. And likewise, they occupy my consciousness at all times.
Wonderful, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Prabhu, please give us your association in Bhakti Sangha. We would like to hear your classes.
Please shower your mercy, Mataji. I've been telling the same.
Come on. No, Prabhu should shower the mercy. Very nice. Thank you so much for sharing this verse. So, yeah, the thing is the last line. I mean, Krishna, who is a supremely knower of everything, he says, I don't know anything else except them. Or they occupy, like Prabhu put, they occupy my consciousness also. So that is the Lord and the devotees, such relationship. And the Uttamadhikari is situated in that relationship, and how to attain that. Not that we remain as Kanishta or Madhyama always. Prabhupada gives a practical way that how we follow the scriptures, we follow the previous acharyas, and we see according to our Guru Shadhu and Shastra and time, place and circumstances, and always protected in the association of devotees. When we do that, we should become, actually can become and should become. So before this, let me share the another. There's a brilliant purport where he says about Kanishtadhikari, Madhyamadhikari and Uttamadhikari. It's a big purport, but we can read parts of it. Anybody would like to read this? Typically, the Kanishtadhikari.
Shall I read, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Typically, the Kanishta Adhikari is eager to engage in materialistic qualification in the service of the Lord, mistaking such material expertise to be the sign of advanced devotion. But by continuing to serve the Supreme Lord and the devotees engage in propagating the Lord's mission, the Kanishta Adhikari also advances in his realization and comes to the stage of dedicating his activities to helping more advanced Vaishnavas. Even such Kanishta Adhikaris can help ordinary living entities by their association, since at least the Kanishta Adhikaris have faith that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because of his faith, the Kanishta Adhikari gradually becomes inimical to those who are opposed to the Lord. As he gradually becomes more and more inimical to those who hate the supremacy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and becomes more attracted to friendship with other faithful servants of the Lord. The Kanishta Adhikaris approaches the second class stage called Madhyama. In the Madhyama stage, the Vaishnava sees the Lord as the cause of all causes and the chief goal of everyone's loving propensity. He sees the Vaishnavas as his only friends within this morbid world and is eager to bring innocent people within the shelter of Vaishnava society. Also, Madhyama Adhikari strictly avoids associating with the self-proclaimed enemies of God. When such an intermediate qualification becomes mature, the concept of supreme qualification begins to present itself. That is, one comes to the stage of Uttama Adhikari.
Thank you, Prabhu. So very nicely Prabhupada explains that, see how Kanishta Adhikari, first we think that if we are engaging in some service to the Lord according to our materialistic qualifications as best, then we think that such material expertise to be the sign of advanced devotion. But if we continue to serve the Lord and engage in propagating the Lord's mission, and especially to this, it comes to the stage of dedicating his activities to helping more advanced Vaishnavas. So let me be a servant to the spiritual master, servant to the advanced Vaishnavas. When that realization comes, as a Kanishtadhikari, we continue to serve. Then how he makes friendship with the devotees, and then be inimical to those who take away anukulyasya sankalpa, pratikulyasya varjanam, and then how in Madhyama stage, eager to bring innocent people, and also Madhyama Adhikari avoids this. Then when that Madhyama qualification becomes mature, then the supreme qualification begins to present oneself. One comes to the stage of Uttama Adhikari. So this is also a very nice paragraph. Yeah. Can someone read for want of time? Like it's already okay. Yeah, Mahabhagavata from here.
A Mahabhagavata being empowered by the Supreme Lord, Yogeshwara is endowed with the supernatural power to inspire and give us success to the Madhyama Adhikari who follows his footsteps, and to elevate Kanishta Adhikari gradually to intermediate platform. Such a devotional power springs automatically from ocean of mercy found within the heart of a pure devotee. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur points out that Mahabhagavata has no desire to inflict punishment on the enemies of the Lord. Rather, he engages the Madhyamadhikari and Kanishthadhikari in preaching work to purify the polluted mentality of inimical souls who are falsely imagining the material world to be the separate from Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. It's a brilliant purport. All this, maybe we can read again and again. So this is what Prabhupada did, right? So Mahabhagavata, he has a supernatural power. To what? To inspire and give success to the Madhyama Adhikari. If at all there is any success to Madhyama Adhikari, that comes because of the Mahabharata's supernatural power to inspire and give success, who follows in his footsteps, and also he elevates the Kanishta Adhikari gradually to the intermediate platform. And why he does this? Because he's an ocean of mercy from the heart. And he doesn't want to inflict punishment to the enemies of the Lord, but he engages Madhyama Adhikaris and Kanishta Adhikaris to purify the polluted mentality of the inimical souls. So beautiful purport, more to come, but it's very big and it's nice read. And every paragraph is like filled with what is Madhyama Adhikari, Uttama Adhikari, and how one can become that. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Now let's go back to the so we will do a group task now, since all the devotees. So group 1, the discussion time will be 10 minutes and presentation will be 2 minutes. So group 1 would be bringing out the understanding of Kanishta Adhikari through a conversation. So 2 people, one can ask question and the other can repeat or something like that. Like through a lively conversation, we are bringing out what a Kanishta Adhikari is. Second, can enact a role play, bringing out the characteristics of Madhyama Adhikari. One can be a Madhyama Adhikari and the others, like we saw how he loves the Lord, he avoids the atheists, he makes friends with the devotees. And so this can be enacted out as a role play. And then group 3 is bring out examples of Uttama Adhikari behavior in devotees from Srimad Bhagavatam is filled with that. So we can come up with few examples of devotees who had shown this Uttama Adhikari oneness vision. Is it okay? Can we do this, Mataji? Do we have time?
Mataji?
Is it okay to do this group task?
Mataji, but we have only like in one room it is only 2 people. In other 2 rooms we have 3. Is that okay? We'll start open breakout.
Yeah, I mean, whatever they can do, if they cannot do role play, they can at least tell something. So each group can discuss and bring out, or just brainstorm points also about Kanishta Adhikari, Madhyama Adhikari, and Uttama Adhikari.
Sure, Mataji, I'm opening the rooms. Please click on join and you all can go. And these questions are posted even in the groups. If you don't have saved one, you can go to the WhatsApp and check for the questions. I'm opening the rooms. Please click on join.
And can you even put this one?
Put it there, put it there. Put it there. Put it there on the sofa. Put it together.
Prahalad, you did not go. Please click on join.
Prahlad, you can also participate in the discussion, Prahlad.
There is Mukund. Mukund is there. Please go. I put Mukund and you in one room.
Maybe he's playing, I don't know.
That's okay, Mataji.
So we can go to all the rooms and help them.
Yeah, Mataji, I will also go to group 3, Mataji. There are 2 people. I will go and I will also discuss.
Yeah. I will go to group 2 and group 1 and help
Group
them.
1, Mataji. There are 2 people. Yes.
Amma,
You have to go to room 1.
what do I do? What do I do?
You have to go to room 1 and there we are discussing about
Kanishta Adhikari. Mukund is also there.
Okay.
Are you able to go, Prahlad?
Yes.
Mataji, I logged out. I don't know.
Oh, okay. I will give you co-host. Then you will be able to go, Mataji, wherever you want to go.
Okay, I joined in my phone because computer stopped responding.
Okay.
Yeah, can you put me for the breakout room for
Okay.
room number 1?
Okay, I will put you in the Mukund's room, okay? Group 1. Please go there. Yeah. Hare Krishna.
ఇప్పుడేం చేయాలి?
ఇప్పుడు సమ్మరీ చేయాలి. ఏం మీరు డిస్కస్ చేశారో అది చెప్పాలి.
యా షూర్ మాతాజీ. Nitya Narasimha Prabhu is the main role.
Mataji, can you unmute yourself, Lalitangi Mataji?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I had some problem in the computer, so I rejoined in the phone. So everyone is back here?
Yes, Mataji, rooms are closed. Everyone is back.
Okay. I think then group 1 can go, right? Mukund and Prahlad.
Yes. What are the characteristics of the Kanishtadikari? The Kanishtadikari, he sees Krishna in the deities, in the temple and at the house. If there's deities, then he can see Krishna in there. He also follows the regulative principles, and he is also humble. Yeah, he's humble to great and superior people. Does he follow the rules and regulations? Yes, the Kanishtadikari does follow the rules and regulations. And does he go to the temple? Yes, the Kanishtadikari does go to the temple. Does he quarrel with others? Yes, the Kanishtadikari does do that. Why? He does it because he does not give equal respect to everyone, and he cannot see Krishna in every single person.
Wow. Wonderful. Mukund and Prahlad, you both did a very nice conversation. Hari Bol. So group 2, thank you devotees. Group 2, Prabhuji, you can.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Yeah, so I'm the, Prabhuji is the Madhyamadikari and I'm the neophyte Mataji. So we are doing role play. So I'm coming first time to the temple. So Prabhuji has something to tell me.
Yes,
Go ahead,
Mataji, thank you. Yeah, Mataji, like Mataji said that she's coming like a beginner devotee, and she's asking that. So what I suggest, I requested Mataji
Prabhuji,
that
we can do the role play itself. You can go ahead and tell me what you told me, all those things.
okay. So I'm a neophyte devotee. So other like Mataji, I am not good in role play, but I'm just
No, Prabhuji, like I'm the neophyte, so you like how you asked me.
Okay, you already told. So next week, one of the senior sannyasi is coming. So would you kindly come for the satsanga, Mataji?
Oh, I'm just happy seeing the Lord, and my kids have some activities, next week. I am very busy with that. Actually, so I don't know if I can make time for all these things.
Yeah, no problem, Mataji. Yeah, Grahastha means lot of responsibilities. No problem. You attend that event, but as well, maybe at the end of the program, I will message you. Just come for half an hour. Come and take blessings from Maharaja and have a nice prasadam, Mataji, so that you will not miss that event also. And life transformation will happen when you meet this Maharaja.
Yeah, I have read all these books at home. I have Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. My dad knows the Bhagavatam, and my grandpa also used to recite. So I know all that stuff. So I have to attend my child's event.
Oh, really? You read so many books, Mataji, and you are seems to be a Paramparik Vaishnavi. So it is so great, Mataji. Just you like there are two types of association: book Bhagavat and person Bhagavat. You already got the book Bhagavat, so maybe book Bhagavat is allowing you to come. So it is so nice, Mataji, to meet you, and kindly come. Even if it is not half an hour, come for 10-15 minutes. That is more than enough, Mataji. So thank you for accepting this invitation, and I am going to remind you, text you, and you enjoy the
I know
event.
everything. You don't need to send reminder. I know what to do. I will try to see. Yeah, I have other things. I'm very busy. Thank you.
Yeah, fine. Because you will be busy, na Mataji. So I will text you because sometime you may forget. So I will send you a soft reminder, Mataji. That is good. So I'm looking and hoping to meet next week with Maharaja, Mataji. Thank you very much, and all the best for the event which you are going to arrange for your kid.
Thank you. I cannot promise though. Thank you.
No,
Next
Mataji, but I am convinced that you are going to come. So that trust is there, Mataji. So definitely we will meet, Mataji.
Yeah, I have to go now somewhere. Please, I will talk to you later.
Yeah. Kindly, Mataji, you have to give that preference to going. Kindly you go and we'll meet next week. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Wow. That was, you were all both are professional actors, Prabhuji, so nicely.
Mataji, my original level, no, I am at, so it's natural.
Come on, Mataji. Nitya Narasimha Prabhu, definitely the way you say that Mataji has to come next week. So nice that you depicted like
It
how.
the other way around, Mataji, role play, but Mataji took humble position.
I know, very nicely you depicted how they are merciful to the innocent, very humble, and have friendship with devotees, and taking association from Maharaj, loves the Supreme Lord. Everything is very nicely depicted. Hari Hari Bol. Wonderful, Prabhuji and Mataji. Thank you so much. So next group 3.
Mataji, actually, group 3, they were not discussing anything. They left the call from there.
Oh, okay. No problem, Mataji. Yeah, thank you all so much. So I thought, this is a nice, we already know all this, nothing new I said, but this role play and other things could bring a flavor, and we can also hear from everyone their realization. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji, for such a beautiful class. Like, even though I have heard this, had the opportunity to hear this topic, but when you say it's like always new, even your Bhagavad Gita class, I'm like, oh my God, I never know these things. So you always bring new realizations, and I'm so grateful to you for that, Mataji. Always, I know even today, like the kind of points you bring out, the practical ones, I have not heard them earlier. So I'm so grateful, Mataji, for your classes always.
So humble, Mataji. Many points are from your previous class, what I heard. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. So maybe
I really like the point when you were saying that Prabhupada, he had that equal vision and he saw the potential in everybody. And I was also reminded, of one pastime of Srila Prabhupada, when a devotee says that, we are fortunate to, know about Krishna and be Krishna conscious. And then Prabhupada replied that, it is because I gave you the potency, like that, something like that on this. I'm not exactly paraphrasing it. So I was thinking when you were saying that, Prabhupada knew that he can give the potency also, so he knows that, if he tells, they will be able to do. He's advanced, he's a pure devotee, so he just has to will it.
Yeah. Thank you, Mataji, for that beautiful realization.
Thank you, Mataji, for such beautiful points and everything.
Krishna. So if there are no more realizations or comments, we can end, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji, if there are no more comments and realizations, we can end. And I wanted to say, Mataji, beautiful class, Mataji. Thank you so much for the beautiful slides and nice discussion and that purport of Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, right? It is so nice. It was detailedly explaining about what is Kanishthadhikari, what is Uttamadhikari. Thank you so much, Mataji, for that purport, connecting to this verse. It was very nice to understand. Thank you, Hare Krishna. Mataji, but I have one question. In Kanishthadhikari, you were telling that that how the service other devotees are doing, why not I do? That mentality, see, Mataji, there is two ways. In positive way, there is a mentality and there is a negative way mentality. Why not I do is in a positive way. Maybe why cannot I try, or why not I be in that situation one day? Let me try. That is a positive mentality. So is that mentality also is considered as a Kanishthadhikari, or what is exactly that you are talking in that Kanishthadhikari, Mataji?
No, that is right, Mataji, because we always, when we come here, we take inspiration from other devotees, right? So that is a right mentality and proper inspiration. But sometimes, we tend to, not you, I mean, I'm telling it's not that anybody is doing it, but in Kanishta Adhikari, a person may, that instead of inspiration, it could go a little bit over also and say that, how come they are able to do and I am not able to do. So then, let's stop them from doing. It's not a normal thing, but sometimes, because of being in the thing, it might pop up in somebody's mind. So that is not good. But this inspiration and taking thing is nice, because ultimately we understand, right? Shabdake paurusham rishu. So if a person is excelling in anything and doing devotional service to the Lord, that's basically Krishna's blessings on that person. So we appreciate that person, and we understand that it's not possible without the Lord's mercy on them. So then, if we want to do that, if we think that we can also try to do that, and we have that capabilities, for example, like some people may be very good in drawing, so that might be their natural, they might have got that asset and they're using that in Krishna's service. But a person X who don't know anything about drawing, then he cannot try to imitate or try to follow, because even if he tries to do, it won't come. It's a skill that person has, and he's using it in service of Krishna. So that thing we have, like everybody is doing it in the service of the Lord. And of course, it is positive to take inspiration to whatever we can do, like if we have that skill set and we can do. Is
Thank
that
you,
okay?
Mataji. Yes, Mataji, got it, Mataji. So if there are no more questions, we can close the call here. I would like to offer my obeisances to Mataji and all the Vaishnavas assembled on the call. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhyev cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Lalitangi Mataji ki jai.
Krishna, Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai. Thank you everyone for joining. Again, we'll meet next Tuesday with another verse. Very bold.